Hi, I'm Maze from the West Bank, and this is my story. Please like and subscribe. I was born as the youngest of 4 siblings, and both my parents were medical professionals. Mom was a nurse and Dad was a lab technician. But growing up, I didn't see much of Mom. She worked really long hours, and even when she was home, she was mostly quiet and preferred to be in her room. I wondered why she was like that. But Dad was the complete opposite. He was always home in time to cook dinner and help my siblings with their homework. And no matter how tired he was, he would read me stories every night.
Daddy, you cheated. You skipped a few pages.
What? No, I didn't.
Last night, the princess was in the forest, remember? You have to read from here again.
But the story's almost finished now, sweetie.
From the forest, Daddy. You know she never forgets anything, Dad.
It was true. Growing up, I observed everything and had the best memory. If anyone had trouble remembering anything, they asked me. Maze, do you remember seeing my keys anywhere?
Yeah, Mom. You put them in the fridge next to the milk. Maze, do you know where my pink shoes are? They've been in the garage since September.
Honey, what was that joke I told you 2 weeks ago that made you laugh so much?
Oh, what do a clown's farts smell like? They smell funny.
My parents would drop me off at Grandma's every day before going to work. She lived with my aunt and uncle and adored me, but I never liked Aunt much. She always had something to say about Mom.
Oh, Maze, your hair looks terrible. Doesn't your mother ever brush it? Poor child, you look thin. Is your mother too busy to cook?
Well, it was true that Mom never did those things, but I still felt annoyed. And one day as I was playing with my cousin, I heard Aunt say to a visitor, "Oh, that one. She's my niece. Her mother dumps her here every day because she cares more about herself than her own child." I felt so mad that I ran into the kitchen and spat straight into the pot of food she was cooking. But I couldn't stop thinking about what Aunt had said. I was going to ask Mom why she didn't care about me. That evening, I was waiting for her to return when suddenly the phone rang. It was Mom. She asked for Dad, but he was in the shower. "Okay, Maze, listen carefully. Tell Dad that I won't be coming home for a few weeks."
What?
"Why?" "He knows why. I can't really explain right now, but in case I don't come back, Maze, I promise, everything will be fine."
Mom, why wouldn't you come back? Don't you love us?
But she just hung up. When I told Dad about her mysterious phone call, he looked really worried. But then he said she'd just gone to visit her sister. I didn't believe him for a second. Mom finally came back after weeks, looking really tired, and just went to her room. And we never spoke about where she'd gone. One evening at dinner, Mom got a phone call and she said she had to go. As she was getting ready, I snuck into the car secretly. I wanted to see what she was up to. Mom parked outside a house, and once she was inside, I peeked through the window, and I saw a sick-looking boy in bed. Mom checked the machines around him, fed him medicines, and made him laugh. I'd never seen Mom like this. And when she stepped outside, she almost tripped when she spotted me. "Maze, what are you doing here?"
I just wanted to see what you were doing, Mom. Is that boy really sick?"
"Yeah, he is, sweetie. Would you love me more if I got sick?" Mom looked stunned and then pulled me into a hug. "Don't say that, Maze. I love you very much. I'm around sick kids all the time, and sometimes I just don't have the energy for my own family. It's not fair, though, and I'm sorry."
"Where did you go for 3 weeks, Mom?"
"I caught a bad illness from a patient, and I had to stay away so you guys wouldn't get sick. And I didn't want to worry you by telling you the truth."
"Mom, you made that kid so happy. I want to do that too. I'll be a doctor one day, and I'll treat all sick people for free. And I'll give them medicines that taste like Nutella."
That sounds lovely, Maze. After that day, Mom and I got closer, and I became obsessed with becoming a doctor. Soon I joined an all-girls school, and I was always one of those kids who loved it. The only problem was my cousin, Siham, who was in my class. We'd grown up playing together, but ever since we joined school, she seemed to hate me. Maybe it was because I always had good grades and she was barely passing. To make things worse, Grandma was always telling Siham to be more like me.
"Why, Grandma? She's so boring. I'm pretty, and I'm gonna be a model one day. You'll all see me on TV when I join America's Top Model."
"You will do no such thing. But if you're like Maze, you can go to the US to be a doctor."
Ew, I'm not touching sick or old people. I'm gonna go to America and be a swimsuit model. Grandma threw her shoe at her, which she dodged, and I couldn't stop laughing. But I asked my parents if I could really go to the US one day to study, and they said if I had good grades, then yes. By the time I reached high school, I was more determined than ever, but Siham always mocked me. Don't you ever want to do something fun, Maze? Like what? Shopping, dressing up, talking to a hot boy. Have you seen the cute ones next door? Right next to us was an all-boys school, and I knew the girls spent half their time spying on the boys and exchanging notes. I've got bigger things to focus on right now, like going to the US. Yeah, I have the same dreams, girl, but I'm not working so hard for it, and you'll see. I'll be way more successful than you. Like, who needs more doctors? Everyone? If I'm sick, I'm not gonna go to a model. Then don't get sick. It's not hard if you eat an apple every day. Wow, you could be a doctor already. Now, please, let me study because I'm actually serious about my dream. And who says I'm not? I'm so sick of you always acting like you're better than me. With that, Siham suddenly snatched my book and ran off, laughing and tearing out pages from it. I chased after her, but suddenly I felt a sharp pain in my leg. I fell to the ground and fainted. I woke up in the hospital with my family around me. When I asked them what had happened, my parents said the doctors were still running tests. But what we found out completely changed my life. It turned out that I had bone cancer. Luckily, the doctors said that it was curable. It was really tough undergoing the treatment, but I stayed strong and got through it with my family, who was always by my side. And within a few months, I was cancer-free. But I ended up with a permanent limp and had to use crutches for some time. On my first day back at school, I felt life was finally getting back to normal. But I started noticing how some students looked at me with pity, and I couldn't help feeling annoyed at times. One day, I'd just walked into a busy library when a group of girls got up from their table and turned to me. You don't need to walk around looking for a table, Maze. It must be hard for you. Just take ours.
Girls, why do you have to act so weird around Maze? She's really strong. I mean, she just beat cancer. She can walk to a table on her own.
I knew my teacher meant well, but I realized so did the girls. I appreciate the offer, but also, I'm completely fine. It's only a limp.
Why don't you join me? You can also ask me anything you want about my sickness. I don't mind.
My parents had spent all their savings on my treatment, but I didn't let that get me down. I was working harder than ever to apply for scholarships to US universities. One day, I went into an empty classroom during recess to study, and I walked in on Siham making out with a boy. Oh my God, what are you doing? How did you get in? I told my friends to guard the door. Your friends aren't outside, and you're crazy. You could get into so much trouble for sneaking in a boy. Just then, we heard some voices outside the classroom, and Siham grinned. No, I won't. With that, she jumped out of the window. And of course, I couldn't do that. And seconds later, a teacher walked in. We were taken to the principal, and even my parents were called. They all believed that I hadn't sneaked the boy in, but I also refused to tell him who did. And the boy didn't even know Siham's name.
Maze, I will have to suspend you since you're covering up for the culprit.
But I didn't give them Siham's name, and I got suspended for a week. I was so mad at that witch. But soon, I got some news that made me forget everything. I received an acceptance letter from a top-ranking medical school in the US on full scholarship. My parents and siblings were overjoyed for me, and I couldn't wait to tell Grandma. But when I went to visit her with Mom, she didn't look happy to see me. What's wrong, Grandma?
I'm just deeply disappointed in you, Maze. Siham said you got suspended from school because you were caught with a boy. How could you?
I felt furious. She's lying. It wasn't me. But just forget all that nonsense, Grandma. Look, I got into a university on full scholarship. Suddenly, Aunt took the letter out of my hands.
I've been telling you for years, Mama. May's parents have always been too easy on her. She's sneaking boys into school, and they're still going to trust her and send her away to the US? God knows what she'll do to bring shame to the family.
Mom leapt forward and gave her a tight slap.
Don't talk about my daughter that way. She's a source of pride for this family, and she always will be. Perhaps you need to keep a closer eye on Siham. I suspect the boy at school has something to do with her.
Mom took my hand and we left. Grandma came over one day and apologized. and she gave me a handful of cash.
What's this for, Grandma?
Nothing. Just a small start for your new life. I'll miss you, darling, and I know you will make us so proud.
It was really hard when I had to leave because I'd never been away from my family before. But I was also excited for my new adventure. But at first, landing in the US was more of a cultural shock. Everything seemed 10 times bigger, and people seemed a lot friendlier back home. I felt almost invisible as I walked across the campus to the hostel. Suddenly, I lost my balance and almost fell down when someone caught me. I looked up to see a tall girl.
Need some help with that?
Her name was Kylie, and it turned out that she was in the room right next to mine. She ended up helping me unpack, and we stayed up really late talking.
Can I ask you why you limp?
When I told her I survived cancer, she looked awestruck.
Wow, Maze, it's so brave of you to chase your dream and be here all on your own. Well, now you got me.
Kylie was my first friend and the closest, but I slowly started to mingle with others as well. After always being in an all-girls school, it was strange for me to be studying with boys, but over time, some of them became really good friends. When Christmas arrived, everyone was going home for the holidays, and I felt really homesick, but Kylie invited me to her place. Her family was lovely, and it was the first time I got to experience Christmas their way. I'd made a traditional Palestinian dessert for them, and they loved it. In our second year, Kylie came to me one day with some upsetting news. Her dad had been unwell lately, and she'd decided to transfer to a college in her hometown. I'm gonna miss you so much, Maze. Me too. I can't even imagine this place without you. I'll come see you soon. I put on a brave face as she left, but once I was inside my room, I couldn't stop the tears. Suddenly, there was a knock on the door, and when I opened it, I nearly fell back in shock. It was my sister. It turned out that she'd applied to the US for her master's, and she'd gotten into a college right next to mine. I never thought I could go so far away from home, but seeing you do it gave me the courage, Maze. This is the best surprise ever. Welcome.